Well, Miles, there is a new man in charge for the Raiders once again, and that's no other than Pete Carroll. What was your instant reaction to the news, knowing the Raiders swung and missed on Ben Johnson, but ended up getting their man in a 73-year-old Pete Carroll?
Yeah, I like the move. I like the hire. And, I guess maybe that goes back to me watching the USC teams of, the 2000s where they were just so successful. And Pete Carroll just always has this energy about him. And so I've long admired him as a coach. But I think that, he also has a recent history of success in the National Football League. And yeah, you got to go back to the 2013 season to when the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl, but it's not like he had losing records in his last couple of years with the Seahawks there in 2022 and 2023. He was able to get Geno Smith into a place in his career where he wasn't just a viable starting quarterback, but a quarterback that has done a lot of good things, led the league in completion percentage at over a 70% clip. So that is something where I think if you want a guy who's going to come in, really stabilize a football program, really maybe able to make you not just, somebody who's a team, but people are going to really know how competitive the Raiders are going to be. I mean, that's one of the mantras of Pete Carroll, always compete. I think that it's a good hire for a Raiders team that really does need to be put on the right track. And now is Pete Carroll, because he's 73, going to be 74 by the time season starts, is he the best long-term option? Well, certainly probably not. But I think that just in terms of getting this team on the right track, I really do think that it is a good hire.
And getting on the right track is easier said than done, and it always has been for the Raiders. Only two winning seasons in the last 22 years, two playoff bids in the last 22 years. Carroll now becoming the third head coach in 3 years. So there's been a lack of stability. But Tom Brady, that's the difference comparing this year's Raiders team to last and all the teams in the past. I know Tom Brady's fingerprints have been all over the John Spytek hire and now this one. How do you think Tom Brady's presence in Las Vegas has changed matters, and especially now with bringing in Pete Carroll?
Well, I think it certainly helps. I don't think that the sort of reporting about Ben Johnson and the Raiders, I don't think that was totally off base. I really don't. I mean, Ben Johnson was a guy who was very in demand. It just so happened that the Bears were the top option. And, if you listen to his press conference the other day, one of the things he said was the big difference is the quarterback. And that's one of the things that right now the Raiders, we know, just do not necessarily have, right? So one of the things that Pete Carroll did, you go back and you look at what he did coming into Seattle, they didn't necessarily have the quarterback settled early on there, but Matt Flynn was supposed to come in and he's supposed to be the guy, but then Russell Wilson ends up being the guy. And then obviously they go on to have a lot of success. So I say all that to say that Pete Carroll understands how to build a team where it's not just the quarterback, right? It doesn't always have to be quarterback driven. And now this league is a quarterback driven league. And so, yes, eventually you have to get that right. And eventually you have to be able to say, okay, this is our guy. This is our franchise guy. This is how we're going to compete, especially if you're in a division with guys like Patrick Mahomes, right? Guys like Justin Herbert, guys like Bo Nix, who obviously have not necessarily had the postseason success, but there's still guys that you feel like you can build the team around. The Raiders have to find that guy. And I think it's not just Tom Brady's presence, obviously one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever seen play the game, but then Pete Carroll's experience in that arena. Those two things coming together, and making the Raiders be able to build themselves. Like, I think that that's really, really good because it's not just, okay, what Tom Brady would potentially look for, what Spytek would potentially look for, but you also have somebody in Pete Carroll who has that experience, right? And then it's not just Russell Wilson, it's also Geno Smith, knowing that Geno Smith could be that kind of guy that can still elevate teams. I think that's really important. And so I think all those things combining together, I do think are good moves for the Raiders.
Yeah, the elephant in the room surrounding this whole team is that franchise quarterback, and they haven't had that for quite some time since Derek Carr was pushed out the door by Josh McDaniels. They tried out Jimmy Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and now the latest reports because of this Pete Carroll hire, of course, is Russell Wilson. And reports say that Russell Wilson actually wanted to be in Las Vegas last year. That didn't pan out. What would you make of that match here if Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson were reunited and just tried to get that magic back in Las Vegas?
I think it's interesting. And I guess I would go back to the Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson situation. Would it be that Russell Wilson is the veteran that's supposed to come in and then, a young quarterback comes in and actually supplants him? I can see that happening. The interesting thing is obviously things did not end well, between Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll leading that organization at the time. And so have the fences been mended enough that is something that would work? I mean, it kind of depends on who you talk to. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure Pete Carroll will be asked about it at some point, before free agency begins. Has that relationship actually been mended? But, yesterday I was talking to some people and I said, I don't think that that's something that would be viable. Today, you start seeing the reporting, and I saw something from The Athletic and a couple other places where actually, yes, that those two guys have mended fences enough where that is a viable potential option as Russell Wilson heads into free agency. And he may not even reach free agency. We don't know. The Steelers may decide that they want to keep him around, and Russell Wilson may say, well, I want to stay where I've already been and had some success in 2024, despite the way things ended. So I think it's certainly an interesting conversation. And if the Raiders are going to do something this offseason, it would make sense to bring in a veteran quarterback like a Russell Wilson who has the familiarity with everything that Pete Carroll wants to do in order to implement a successful football program.
And turning around this franchise is hard enough, but it's especially harder when you look at the division. You mentioned the quarterbacks who play in it, but the coaches, the accomplishments in this division are pretty nuts between Andy Reid and then Sean Payton and then Jim Harbaugh and now Pete Carroll, between national championships and Super Bowl titles. But here's the problem: 73 going on 74. However, Pete Carroll seems like a lot more youthful than your typical 74-year-old head coach. So, when you look at the future coming up for the Raiders under Pete Carroll, what do you think needs to go right for them to actually get out of this this decline they've been on for the last 3 years?
Well, one of the things, somebody's got to dethrone the Chiefs, right? And I don't know who that could possibly be. I mean, we see all kinds of growth, I think, from the different teams every year in some ways, right? We've seen teams beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. We saw the Raiders spoil Christmas. That's part of the reason why Antonio Pierce got that job in the first place, was because he was able to do that. But it doesn't just take that. It takes, I think, concentrating on yourself in some way. How do you build up the trenches, right? How do you build up the offensive and defensive line? Obviously, Max Crosby is a foundational player. How do you continue to make sure that there are guys around him that can help take pressure off of him and can also make plays when those plays are there to be made? So that's one element of it. I think the quarterback, finding a franchise guy, whether it's Russell Wilson, somebody else, somebody in the draft, that also makes a lot of sense. You have to be able to do that in order to really, really compete in this league. So those are just the two elements of it. But I think, with the way Pete Carroll's coached in the past, I think the trenches are two places where he's going to concentrate, and he's going to be able to find a type of offensive system that will run the ball well as well. That's something that the Seattle Seahawks seem to always be able to do, run the football. And they had a lot of different guys that were able to help them be successful in doing that, most prominently Marshawn Lynch. So can the Raiders build those things and then maybe find the quarterback later? Or do you find the quarterback now and then help build those things around it? I mean, those things are something that you're going to have to see if you can do. But I think, it'll start in the coming weeks with Pete Carroll building his staff. Who does he have to come in and be the offensive coordinator, right? Who does he have to come in and be the defensive coordinator? Carroll, a defensive guy, but he is the CEO. He's not going to call plays. That's the way he's been for years and years and years. So those are the first sort of things that I think he has to do. Nail the coordinator hires.
Yeah, coming off a 4-13 season, it's going to be a tall task to get the Raiders back to winning ways, but certainly Pete Carroll has proved in the past he's not afraid of taking a challenge. But last one for you on this Pete Carroll hire, Miles. So you worked in Las Vegas once, and you have a good sense of the pulse of NFL teams, fan bases. In the Raiders, it's been a snake-bitten franchise for over 2 decades at this point, but the fan base is always passionate. Now going into year 6 in Las Vegas. Pete Carroll is not your typical head coach. There's a lot of energy there, right? A lot of swagger that he brings to a team. And of course, due to his time in Southern California with the Trojans, that's kind of a match made in heaven with a lot of Raider Nation, which is based out of SoCal as well, due to the LA Raiders. Why do you think that Pete Carroll is a great match, not just because of X's and O's, but also just a good match for the Raiders where they're at right now as a franchise, trying to build this fan base and get things going in their new home?
Everything is always very positive with Pete Carroll. Everything is about positivity and competing. And I think in football, that's one of the things that, can lead you to success. Competition is what this sport is built off of. And so when you have somebody in Pete Carroll who just preaches always compete, always compete, always compete, that you're not really going to go wrong there, I think. But also just his positive energy and his positive nature. It is something that permeates through kind of everything that he does. And he's been able to establish relationships with guys among different generations. I mean, you think about somebody who's been a head coach going back to the 90s and how many things are different now than they were back then, but he's still been able to connect with different guys over all these different generations. And so, I'll never forget last year, I think it was after that Monday night game where Drew Lock came in and he beat the whatever team they were playing, and then Pete Carroll's running around the locker room talking about, and this is something that he's done for a long time, but you're talking about you can't win a game in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, but you can do it in the fourth quarter. And you see him literally, he's running from back and forth around. He's just got this energy that folks, 2 decades younger than him a lot of times don't have. And I think when you are that authentic with your energy, it permeates everything else you do. And so from the team to, the players, to the front office, to the fans, to anybody that is going to encounter him, you're going to understand that this is a guy who is really passionate about football, and he's really passionate about winning, and he's passionate about competing. And like, I don't know that you can really go wrong with something like that. Are they going to win a lot early? I don't necessarily think so, especially given the division that they're in. But I do believe that they will be absolutely competitive, right? They're going to give teams everything that they can handle every single week. And that's just going to be a staple of a Pete Carroll team. And that, I think, is going to excite Raiders fans, not just in Vegas, but, in the Bay Area, Southern California, wherever they may be.
Yeah, it should be fun to see a lot of bubblegum chomping on the sidelines coming
No
to
doubt.
Las Vegas, and sure to be a lot of energy and another new era that begins once again in Las Vegas. But Miles Simmons of Pro Football Talk, we really appreciate your time as always.
Of course, Nick. Thanks.